What's going on, movie fans? My name is Michael Weir and I like to talk about movies. In today's video, we are going to talk about the brand new Disney live-action movie, The Little Mermaid. And of course, this is a remake of the animated movie. It's basically a shot-for-shot remake. There's a few things they changed, a couple different songs, but you pretty much get The Little Mermaid here. We'll get into that in the review. And yes, I'm in a hotel room, which means this is going to be kind of echoey. And I'm sorry for the quality of this video, but you record when you can. And I have the time right now. So let's talk about The Little Mermaid. So guys, The Little Mermaid, adjust that, you don't need to see my bed. All right, I'll leave that in there. And so guys, The Little Mermaid is directed by Rob Marshall and it stars Halle Bailey as the brand new Little Mermaid. And essentially, like I said before in the intro to this video, this is basically a shot-for-shot remake. So if you know the story for the original movie, you know the story for this movie. But in case you don't know it, here we go. I'll give you the rundown. So The Little Mermaid, Ariel, wants to be part of the human world. She's tired of the underwater world where everything is just watery. And so she wants to go on land where the people are. She wants to walk around on, what do you call them? Oh yeah, feet. That's part of the song if you know anything about The Little Mermaid. But anyway, yeah, so she wants to be part of the human world. And of course, her father, the king, who's played by Javier Bardem in this movie, her father will not let her get to the surface and be part of that world because the surface world is what killed her mother. At least that's the story he tells. Although I think there's a darker secret there. If this ever becomes public domain, can someone please make a story about how this guy is actually just killing the moms of the different mermaids? That's all I'm asking. Like, that would be interesting. That's all I'm saying, because it's very different looking daughters that he has, and he's like, all of your one mother. And I'm like, all of your one mother? All right. Let's get back into the synopsis. So of course Ariel goes and makes a deal with the sea witch Ursula, who's played by Melissa McCarthy. And actually she did a good job playing the Ursula, the sea witch. The CGI was a mess. We'll get to my dislikes in a little bit. And so yeah, Melissa McCarthy is the sea witch and she gives Ariel the power to walk on 2 feet above the water on the land, but of course takes the power of her voice. So without her voice, she has to convince Eric that they can be in love together. Prince Eric, who's also in this movie. This hasn't been a very good synopsis. So that's the rundown. She has 3 days in order to convince Prince Eric to kiss her and their true love be real, or Ursula gets not only her voice, but also gets her. Yeah, and that's the synopsis I have for The Little Mermaid. Clearly, this movie wasn't really made for me, but again, this movie is just a shot-for-shot remake of that original animated movie. So let's get into my likes and my dislikes. So my first like's gonna be Halle Bailey. I think she did a fantastic job as Ariel. I think she embodied what Ariel was in that animated movie, and she did a good job with it. I also really like the music in this movie, so the music kind of goes with her, so I kind of want to make those a 1 and 2, because she is singing the majority of the musical numbers in this movie, and she does a great job with that. So Halle Bailey was really fun to watch, and then on top of that, just the musical numbers in this movie, whenever they did Kiss the Girl, whenever they did Part of Your World, like my daughters were really enjoying it, and that's really who this movie's for, right? The little kids, so they were really enjoying it, and we were all enjoying the movie together as a family. So those are my likes for the movie. But those are my only likes for the movie. Let's get into my dislikes. So I've kind of touched on it a few times in this video already, but my first dislike for this movie is that there's no new ground in this movie. This movie consists of what the animated movie was, and that's all. And, you know, as a moviegoer, as someone who wants to see a brand new story when I go see new movies, I kind of wanted to see them go a different path, just throw something in there, a twist, something, but no, it's really beat for beat. And for me personally, it just was kind of boring. Like at that point, I was like, well, why am I watching this? I could just watch the animated classic, which I grew up with. Maybe it's to get a whole new generation of kids to be like, no, the live action is the classic that I'm gonna grow up with. That's very possible, but it's just, it would have been cool to see some new beats to this movie. It would have been cool to see some new ideas for this movie, but no, it pretty much, again, is just beat for beat, and I dislike that. I touched on the CGI a little bit as well, but Melissa McCarthy's Ursula was just horrible looking. And there were moments in this movie where I was like, did they really push this through? Like, did they need another month or 2 to get the CGI looking really good? Because it looks bad. And not just Ursula, I don't want to just pick on her, it's the movie in general. It just feels like it's not bright enough to be a Disney movie, and it's not a dark enough movie to have all those dark colors within it. So when they're in the sea, it's so dark, it doesn't look right. And when they're above and they're on land, it's not as bright and colorful as a Disney movie should be. So it was this weird, like, just color palette that didn't work for the movie that it was in. And I don't know, again, maybe I'm nitpicking on a movie that was made for little kids who don't care about those things, but it would have been cooler to see like just a little bit more color in this movie. And instead I feel like they went very dark to hide things because the CGI wasn't ready. And my final dislike for this movie is not only did I get bored with this movie, but my daughters did, and they are 5 and 6. So maybe they're a little young for theaters, but they're also very behaved in theaters. But there were several times they looked at me and they were like, is it almost over? And I was like, I'm kind of here for you. What do you mean, is it almost over? And so yeah, we all got kind of bored with it, but the musical numbers did pull us back in. So back to my likes, the musical numbers were nice. But yeah, so when they threw a musical number in, it was like, all right, that's good. Overall, I'll say that The Little Mermaid was a fun time. It was fine, but I think this is a movie that you should wait for Disney Plus, especially if you've got little kids. Taking them to the theater to see this movie, I wouldn't take my kids back to the theater to see this movie. It was a fine movie, but they just got kind of bored with it. And I have a feeling when they watch it at Disney Plus at home in a couple of months, when it's on Disney Plus, they're gonna fast forward to the musical numbers and the Ursula fight at the end. Like that's what they're gonna fast forward to, and all of the story plot in between that maybe was for the adults, the kids just don't latch onto. Which again brings me back to my point of, why was this necessary? I just don't know. Like, again, if you're gonna make a shot-for-shot remake, why make it at all? Why not do something new? Why not do something more imaginative? And they just didn't. And so, yeah, The Little Mermaid, it was fine. It's another one watch. May has been like that. I don't think I've seen a single movie in May, maybe Guardians, that I'd revisit. They've all been fine. Maybe that's just the month that it was. This is the 31st that I'm recording this. So May's going to be officially done, and we're gonna move on. And that's my review for The Little Mermaid. Guys, if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps the video and it definitely helps the channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. Maybe this is the first time you're finding my channel. You could check out all of my content. I've done a ton of movie reviews. You can check all of those out on my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see all of you next time. Well, another Disney live action movie has come and gone. I've seen it. Again, for me, it's more of a one watch, but there are other movies that I've reviewed this year, and if you want to check any of those out, you can. Right there, I've got all my 2022 releases, and right there, I've got all my 2023 releases. Thanks for watching.